Hi, hello. Okay, welcome back. So I'm going to be going through some notes that I've received from students, and specifically this time it's going to be from the, call it
3 months?
that I was a 4th grade teacher, like the full 4th grade teacher. Not even long-term sub. I was only for 3 months because
I quit.
So this might also end up being kind of like a story time of how and why I quit teaching. We'll see. We'll see if it really gets into that. Because frankly, this moment in time is... I always feel bad phrasing it this way. And part of that is also, I know you, the audience, you don't know my life. So I think hearing this as a stranger, you would think that I'm exaggerating in some way.
And I promise you I'm not.
But when I taught full-time, I think that might have been the most
traumatizing time in my life.
I'm coming at this as someone who saw her father's dead body at the age of 8. So trust me when I say I'm not like exaggerating when I say something like that. Now, I've always said, if the kids were the hardest part, I wouldn't have left. I've said that from the beginning. So the kids were not the reason why I left. To just kind of paint a picture of what type of time I was having, if I showered once that week, that was probably a good week. I only ate during dinner time because my partner made me dinner. And this is probably the thing that I would say describes in general my mental state during that time. My alarm would go off in the morning, my eyes wouldn't even be open, and I'd already start crying. So I'm saying all this because like half of the stuff in here are... Goodbye, Miss Lee. And I feel let's just say it was the hardest decision I ever made in my life. So just like in my other video going through the notes, I'm not going to share any names. They probably have a driver's permit. It's been a while. It's been a while. If you were one of my 4th grade students, just know I have no poor memories of you. Not a single one of you. I don't care how hard the class was. The kids were not the problem. And all of this I'm sharing with full love. So without further ado, let me get into some of the things that I've received. This first one isn't really a note. It's also not really unhinged. I just think it's so cute, so I want to show it. Look at this little baby Yoda. So that tells you like kind of the time frame of when I was teaching. Oh, along with like traumatizing my kids by leaving, it was also December of 2019. So the kids were going to get traumatized by another event later on that school year. So that must have been a year. That must have been a year for them. But like, look at this little baby Yoda. It's so cute. How could I get rid of that? All right, so anyway, so one thing I wanted to do when I was teaching, I wanted to kind of set up like a little teacher mailbox. And one of the first lessons I had was like, write me a letter. And then I very purposely wrote a letter back to each and every one of them. Did it attribute to my burnout?
Maybe.
But I always wanted to do that. So these are letters that I got back from students after writing them the original letter, I believe. And so this wasn't like an assignment. It was just, you know, if they had free time after something, like they could write me a letter. So some of these are a little unhinged. And that's why I picked them out. And that's why I keep them, and I like reading them back. So I'm also just gonna read the unhinged parts. You don't need to know everything. But this one, I liked this paragraph. It's also crazy because I know exactly who wrote this, and they don't have their name on this at all.
Which is also crazy because I literally like block out my time teaching there, so.
Memories are crazy, Theron.
What is your favorite singer? Mine is Billie Eilish. What's your favorite thing to do? Do you like making crafts?
Can you maybe come to students' houses?
That would be
Super fun.
thanks for asking me questions. And then I liked this drawing as well. Unicorn duck. What gets me is the can you maybe come to students' houses. That's hilarious. I have a lot of kids that, frankly, and I'll show this in here too, they really wanted me to contact them outside of school hours. And I'd like to think that now that they're older, they probably look back at that and think, Miss Lee was a good teacher. She should not have tried contacting me outside of school hours, and I didn't. Also, I might include a video of something that I have on my phone as well, because it's for sure from this girl. I know it because they both mentioned Billie Eilish, and it's one of my favorite things I've ever found on a assignment, ever. It's so funny to me.
I'm grading math journals, and I have to share. Do not open. Aliens only. Mystical wolves only. My pets only. My angel pets too. Billie Eilish too. Shawn Mendes too. And then Area 51. Give me my aliens. Oh my goodness.
This one's a funny one. Miss Lee, you are the best teacher in the world. You mean everything to me.
Except my parents.
It's amazing that I left. With so much devotion, how could I leave? Truly, that was like the best part of teaching. Like the amount of like undying devotion I got pledged to me while I was teaching is insane. Like these kids truly wrote as if they would go to the ends of the earth for me. They didn't do it through their actions, but they wrote me letters about it, for sure. So there's an ongoing theme with some of these where I think the message is funny solely because the reason why they're writing it is so I don't know how to explain this exactly, but there's a certain type of message where they are writing it to me basically trying to insult their other classmates. They're basically trying to say like, these guys are crazy. These guys are crazy. You're perfect. But really what it says to me is that they're just noticing my horrible classroom management skills. So in a way, they're insulting me, but they don't know that. Like, and it's totally okay. It's like, I was not very good at classroom management. That was one of like my worst things as a teacher was classroom management. But I just think it's really funny that it was very clearly like trying to insult the kids around them, but little do they know who is actually the problem here. This one, let me see. I just like the line, I think our class should listen more.
I feel bad for you.
It's sad you bought a microphone. Which I didn't buy a microphone. The school bought me a microphone because I always have had a hard time projecting my voice. But
I feel bad for you.
oh, I like how this is love your secret admirer. That's where this one is from. And it lists like 10 great things about me. Again, teaching does incredible things for your ego. It also destroys it. But there's little things that just like feed at it, and that's what keeps you going. That's what keeps you going are these notes. So we've got 1, you are kind. 2, you're fun. 3, you are, and I think this says entertaining, but it really looks like it says you are earring. You are funny. You are respectful. You pay attention to who is talking. Thank you. You are awesome. This one, I'm pretty good at interpreting what things are supposed to say. I don't know what this is getting at. You are a good participant? participant.
I'm the teacher. Of course I'm a good participant.
You are pretty. You are a good friend. I do think it's really funny when they call me a friend. And then it's in really big, you are a good teacher. Thank you. This one I like for the first line that's in it. And it's clearly responding to something that I wrote back, but I don't know what that is. So the first line just says, "It was good, sad at end. I cried a little, but it was still good." I kind of wonder if maybe I asked him about a movie, but I like the idea of like he's just talking about his week.
It was good, sad at the end. I cried a little.
We've got a very colorful Miss Lee. Oh, this is from the same girl who said, I'm everything to her except for her parents. And really, this, as a precursor, this makes me leaving in like a few months just all the more sad if you think about it. Who knows? I might have stayed an extra month solely because of this letter, to be quite frank. So it says, "Dear Miss Lee,
You have been the nicest teacher in the whole wide world.
I can't believe that you are my teacher in 4th grade. I am so glad that you are my teacher this year.
Thank you for teaching me.
And thank you for everything too. I can't imagine how much that you won't be my teacher ever,
I would start crying.
because you are so sweet and kind, and I am really sorry that other people in the classroom,
It's kind of annoying.
but if you need anything,
You can just ask me.
little did she know I was not going to be her teacher forever." Okay, this one is, I have a thing that goes along with it. Actually, I'll just read the whole thing for this one because it is kind of funny. "Dear Miss Lee, thank you for answering my card. I was super excited because I know you were going to answer it. Every day the class gets chatty, so I am one of those.
Whatever.
I like the self-awareness, you know, that's the first step, really. So I wanted to thank you for being a beautiful teacher. So I have a surprise for you. On your answer card, you said you liked my pen, so here you go. And to this day, I have not detached the pen that she taped to the card. Very nice of her. She did not need to give me her pen. Thank you, child, for the gift, but you did not need to do that. I have it still attached because I feel like it just, it makes the card less funny if I don't have it attached, frankly. So, okay, these I'm not sure if I'm actually gonna go through, but I had a child who,
I'm gonna be frank.
and there's like, probably like a 2% chance he will ever watch this. But I think if he did, he would completely agree with the sentiment, which is why I'm saying it on camera. But this child was,
An absolute menace.
I have a soft spot for him because he was sobbing when I left, and it did make me feel like, you know, maybe I did make an impact on this kid. And he did make me 3 different comic books of the same series. But I think this kid would agree that he is
A menace.
he made a comic book series called The Crazy School. In one of them, I receive like a laser gun and I'm shooting people with it, which maybe I should have been more concerned about, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. You gotta take your battles where you can get. At least he was writing. At least he wrote a full story. Frankly, that was more work I got out of him than most of the time. So really, this shows that I was doing something right. I was doing something right. So yeah, I don't think I could ever get rid of these. I might, when I'm going through, maybe I'll take pictures of some particularly unhinged stuff, but it would take me too long to go through these. Like, he really put in some good work with this. I do like how on the back of this one it says yeet. And he would indeed, when I wasn't looking, go up to the whiteboard and just write yeet on it at random points of time, which it is what it is. Along with it, when I left, he gave me a note. When you come back, more crazy school is coming. Bye. Which, that's another thing that will be shown in the goodbye messages that I have, that they really thought I would come back at some point, which wouldn't have been entirely out of the question. Pretty unlikely, but not entirely out of the question. But there was a global pandemic that happened after I left, so sorry. I kind of had to move on with my life, and frankly, I don't think that would have made it any easier on the teacher that came after me. So, all right, so before I get to my goodbye messages, because there are quite a few there, I'm gonna go through this pile right here. And what this is, so one of the things that I did is I had I don't even know what to call it. It was like a compliment box, and so I encouraged the kids to like find good deeds that other students were doing and to write a compliment to those students. So it was kind of like a classroom community building thing. It was one of the few times where I didn't feel like pulling out my hair constantly because they actually wanted to listen to it. So I enjoyed doing it, and I'm not kidding, I would take
Everything.
I didn't really go through these ahead of time. I did read them before I read them out loud in a way, but I accepted everything, and I tape it onto the wall after I accepted them. So some of these are just like pretty unhinged. I'm just gonna share some of the ones that I find kind of the most unhinged. I kept them all. I don't know why I did that, to be quite frank, but I have them all. These are just the highlights. Thank you, blank, for passing notes with me, which is just bold to tell your teacher. Or because they then like coded their name on this too. So I wonder if they were just trying to get this other girl in trouble for passing notes, and like they thought that I wouldn't know who it was in the code. I don't know. Because this person used this code constantly. I knew exactly who this person was. But, bold thing to tell your teacher. This one is just ZZ. ZZ.
I don't know what that means.
Thank you, blank, for playing jump rope with me, and Miss Lee, I really like your dresses. Bam! That's 2 compliments.
Pretty sure, because there's another one that also says this. I'm pretty sure the reason why they said this is because I had told the story that came from one of my student teaching experiences, where we did this when I was student teaching. That's kind of where I got the idea. And there was, it was some sort of assignment. It might have been a test, but on the back of the assignment, this girl wrote like 2 different compliments. Like one was to me and one was to another kid. And she wrote at the end, bam, that's 2 compliments. Like as a way to like put herself in the running for this compliment thing. But I love that saying, bam, that's 2 compliments. This one I liked because again, it speaks to my poor classroom management skills. Thank you, blank, for your complete silence. To blank for being nice, and to myself for giving a compliment. Thank you for being kind and saying nice stuff to me. Bam! That's 2 compliments. See, I must have told the story. Like, there's no way there would be two versions of that. So this is to someone.
For being cool.
This one's a classic for people that gave compliments. It's a compliment to the people who wrote compliments. And then this one, again, it gets me every time. To Miss Lee.
A good friend.
I'm your teacher. I'm not your friend. Maybe that's why they talked over me all the time. You know, I have said before, because and maybe it's not quite as much now. Though maybe it is. I'll have to rewatch these videos and make a full opinion on that. But I did feel like my talking voice sounds like a child. And so I came to this realization one day that, you know, maybe it's not my fault that the kids aren't listening to me. They just think that another like 4th grader is being loud and trying to tell them what to do, because they don't recognize that it's my voice that's coming out. So I've thought about that before.
So anyway,
this next set of stuff that I'm going to share comes from when I left teaching. So it was a complicated time, frankly. Hardest thing I've ever had to do. So one of the hardest things was just figuring out like how exactly I wanted to do it as far as like the kids went. So this was part of my thing. I knew I was gonna leave. I needed to leave for my own mental health reasons. So I had told not even the principal. I'll be frank, like that principal can. So I told my assistant principal that I needed to leave, and I work at a charter school. So a lot of times how charter schools work is that there's not a union in place. So that was part of the problem, part of the reasons why I needed to leave. There's no union, I had no protections. But one of the things that was offered in the contract is that it was an at-will contract, which basically means that I could leave at any point that I want, and they could let me go at any point that they wanted. There didn't need to be like a written up like official thing. This didn't like affect my licensure at all. I could choose to leave at any point. So when I told my assistant principal that I wanted to leave, she said like, okay, when do you want to leave? And I had told her that my preference would be to leave once they found a replacement for me. I was in a bad spot mentally, but I knew I could last until they found someone else. I told her this in November too. It was at kind of towards the beginning of November. And I said, preferably, I'd like to be able to leave by the end of the month, but I will stay until you find a replacement. So I knew for a good few weeks before I actually left that I would be leaving, essentially. I did indeed wait until they found someone to replace me, and so that was like the first week of December. And so then I stayed that first week and helped that teacher like kind of transition into the class. So she was able to like kind of see what was going on, meet the kids, that we were able to kind of transfer it out, because I really didn't want them to be just lost. I knew what the situation was at the school. They didn't really have subs. It was really going to screw over other teachers too, because then they'd have to use the subs that they do have to fill in for my classroom. So I really tried to make it through until that end. Frankly, just knowing that there was an end date helped me a lot emotionally. So I was able to make it through. So that's to say, I knew that my principal was gonna send out an email to families saying that I was leaving. And so I had told the kids at the end of the day, before they went home to their parents, that it was gonna be my last week and I wasn't gonna be there. It was very sad. I was really sad. The kids were really sad. But I thought that that whole thing would be a lot better than just leaving and them not knowing at all what had happened. That's how I wanted to leave, and I was able to kind of, because there was also a lot of kids that I think, because they don't know better, like they don't know what things were going on behind the scenes, that really caused me to leave. I wanted to make sure that they didn't think that they were the reason why I was leaving. And I knew there were a good couple of kids that I think they thought that's why I was leaving. And I really tried saying that that's not the reason. I really tried. But I mean, it's kind of like, you know, I can't I can't tell these kids that, you know, I'm leaving because I'm deteriorating. Like they don't know it, but like I was in a really bad spot. So that's all to say, these kids knew I was leaving. I had some really nice parents that one of them made me like this whole little book. She taped a bunch of their messages inside it. And I wish I could tell that woman just like how much all of that meant to me. I think it's definitely one of the nicest things that anyone has ever done for me. I won't share her story too much, but it was clear that she had gone into teaching and had also left her first year, and so she kind of understood a lot of what I was going through and feeling, and that it really meant a lot to me. And I think like the situation I was in, nothing was going to be perfect while I was leaving, but I'm glad I did it the way that I did, you know? So just that's a disclaimer before you hear all of these little notes, because there is a part of me that's like, oh, I think I traumatized these kids. So anyway, let's start with this. Dear Miss Lee, I hope that when you leave, you have a good life. Me, and then she wrote her name, hopes that you get a good job. Thank you. The next job I got was a childcare job, which wasn't perfect, but you know what? I got health insurance right before a pandemic hit the world, so can't really complain that much. A post-it note that's all crumpled up that says, "We love you. Guess who I am?" Pretty sure I know who this is. I think it was the kid that wrote the little comic books to me. And I have an image of this on my phone. I might post that too. He would take things from my desk and he wouldn't take things from my desk. He specifically took a deck of Uno cards that I put on my desk because he would start playing it in the middle of my read alouds, and I wasn't gonna allow that. And then I saw one day that he took it from my desk to play Uno during my read alouds, and so I wrote a note on it that said, "I know you're taking this. Stop." It's a little drawing of me, and it says, "Come back soon." And back is spelled bake.
I'm sorry I didn't.
Frankly, I wanted to come back because I had bought like $100 worth of these little plastic containers to be like book bins and whatnot for these kids. I never got them back. I spent a good amount of money on that. But you know,
We were in a pandemic.
so I didn't even know if I could come into the building to get those back. But I left them there because they were like their bins, and so I let them keep it for the year. But nope, I don't have them anymore. It's a good thing I never went back into elementary school teaching. Otherwise, I probably would have wanted them, but I never did. So it's all good. This one is, I like this one. It's a big heart with my name on it, and it's got different attributes about myself. And I always liked hearing what their attributes for me were, because I felt like it was very telling. And a lot of times it had to do with how I looked. So,
Just a little ego boost, really.
Miss Lee, I love you, Miss Lee. And then it says, good at math, funny, beautiful, kind, cool, cute. You have cool clothes. Good. Teaching skills. Very funny. Pretty. I like your glasses.
Thank you.
It's also saying something about how often they said I looked pretty, because I'm not kidding, I looked like a mess. I look at pictures of myself back then, I wore no makeup, I didn't do my hair, I was a complete wreck. I'm not gonna lie. So the fact that they thought I was pretty, that's a very high compliment. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so this, I'm not gonna say everything because some of it is more sappy. I am looking for
Anything that's unhinged.
because again, the person who made this for me, very nice. I love you. Oh, this one's funny.
I will miss you, Miss Lee. I hope wherever you are going, I hope it is a good place. You will be the best teacher ever. I love your teaching. You always listen when I need you.
Why it called Minnesota?
Because it has a lot of soda.
Oh, this is funny. So this is from a girl who, I really liked her. She was very sweet. But one thing she would do is she would email me over the weekends. And it would be like, "Hi, Miss Lee, how are you doing? What have you done this weekend?" Which, just pro tip, again, pro tip kids, adults should not be emailing you or trying to have a conversation with you outside of school hours. And again, I like to think that she probably looks back and appreciates that I had that boundary set with her. But she does specifically have this message for her card. I will email you a lot. Which is unfortunate because my school email went away, so she wasn't gonna be able to email me. I will miss you so much.
I'll cry every day for you.
I'll never forget you. I hope you didn't cry every day. I'm heartbroken. This is from the girl who said that I am everything to her, except for her parents. Through line. This girl is very sweet. Miss Lee, I will miss you so much.
I will cry and cry until I go to sleep.
And every day I will be very sad because you aren't there to teach us. And I probably told you this, but you are the best teacher in the whole wide world. I will miss you so bad. And then she wrote her mother's number and said, "Call me." Again, I like to think they appreciate that I had boundaries. Dear Miss Lee, we are going to miss you forever. Don't go thinking we are gonna forget you, or I'll mail myself to you.
Also, if you are a child of mine, the 5% chance that could happen, and I'm not saying yours out loud, it's nothing against you. All of these are cherished memories of mine. I'm just trying to look for the best unhinged content so I can have good content for my video. If I said just all of the plethora of nice and lovely things that were said about me, you know, it would really kind of disconnect me from the audience, you know? I'd just be a little too high up on that pedestal, I think.
I like this note. Always come back when you need to. I mean, I was leaving for a reason. I didn't need to come back. I like, you're the best teacher I have had. I will miss you and your funny songs. I don't remember singing all that much, but I think what she's probably referring to is, and I did this even after I taught here, but I had a method of teaching where if I wanted them to listen to me because they weren't, I would start singing everything to annoy them into submission. We love you, yay. I will miss you. And then just a drawing of a castle. Oh, and then bye. Bye, Miss Lee. Hope you make it far in life. I hope I do too. And then I do feel a little bad. This is kind of what I was saying, where a few of them, I think, interpreted me leaving as me leaving because of them. Sorry for all the bad I did. I will do good for the new teacher. We'll miss you. God bless. Okay, I don't know if I should share this one, but I'll just say it right now. Obviously, Lee is one of the most common last names in like the planet, so you're not going to be able to figure out who this student is. I will miss you, Miss Lee. I like that you have the same last name as me. I would agree. That's probably something I would write if I had a teacher named Miss Lee. So those are all of the unhinged notes that I've gotten when I taught 4th grade. Classics, a lot of them. And frankly, I need these physical reminders because I have blocked out so much of that experience. Traumatizing. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned a little bit more about me. I hope that you agree that I am everything to you, except for your parents. It's just a way of life, I gotta say. So, have a good day. Bye.